All righty, welcome in everyone to the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. Great to be back. I'm back in Milwaukee.
Back in sunny Milwaukee, baby. Best city on planet Earth.
Yeah, it was a little chilly today. It was 73.
Yeah, you're starting to get that late August nip in the air a little bit.
But yeah, good to be back on the show as well. Missing yesterday, driving from Nashville to Milwaukee. So good to be back, Logan, for a little bit for you anyways. We'll try to get through as much as we can while you're on here. But preseason week 1 to talk about. We have a lot of storylines. I've been watching the ESPN fantasy football marathon going on right now. And yeah, a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of storylines after one week. But yeah, we'll look at all those games, and then at the end of the show, we'll talk about the NFC South and the ACC, getting into our college football previews. So Thursday, we had Giants beat the Patriots 23-21. My boy, Bailey Zappi. I love Bailey Zappi. I was surprised he went to New England. Don't like that he went there. He's not going to have an opportunity there. But, was pretty good. 205 touchdown, had a pick, unfortunately, though. Tyrod was decent for the Giants. Daniel Jones, I heard was not good. I didn't get to watch the game. But and the Patriots offense, I heard, has been very suspect in camp so far.
Yeah, those have been the early returns, that's for sure. And I mean, I don't know what they expected not having a bona fide OC, but
yeah. Joe Judge, Matt Patricia splitting play calling in this game. One called the plays when Brian Hoyer was on the field. The other called the plays when Bailey Zappi was on the field. So we still don't know who's going to call plays when the regular season hits. Antonio Williams, leading rusher in the game for the Giants, 9 for 61, had a touchdown. Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris. Pierre Strong, leading rusher for the Patriots. Kevin Harris scored. The two rookies there. Wilkerson for the Patriots, 8 for 99. He was the leading receiver in the game, 12 targets. Pretty healthy workload in preseason game. Let's see what else. Little Jordan Humphrey scored for New England. Richie James scored for the Giants, and Tyquan Thornton scored for the Patriots, which I've heard he has progressed a lot quicker than people thought he would. Second round pick.
Yeah.
Trenton Thompson is my Austin Calitro is my defense player of the game.
Yeah, Tyquan Thornton's going to be interesting because I know that when he was picked, a lot. When he went and then you paired it kind of with the Cole Strange of it all. There was a lot of talk around the Patriots reaching. But I really liked Tyquan Thornton coming out, and I was higher on him than most of the media was, at least. I think he was getting consistently 4th round grades. I thought he was worth a top 100 pick. I mean, great combine, and he put up really good production in his final year at Baylor. So, yeah, I think he could be a very good pick for them.
We'll see. Like you said, they need someone to step up in the receiving. Traded for Devontae Parker, hoping he would be the guy. He's been dealing with some injury stuff, so we'll see how he does coming up in the regular season in a few weeks. And yeah, unlike the regular season where I'll say who covered the spread and if the over-under hit, I'm not doing that in preseason. Though you can bet on preseason games. Yeah.
If you're betting on preseason games, I don't know, man. You might need to seek help. You might need to call the gambling hotline.
I know quite a few people that have been betting preseason games every weekend so far. All right. The other game on Thursday, Ravens 23-10 win over the Titans. The Ravens win their NFL record 21st consecutive preseason game. That's just crazy.
Best streak in all of sports.
Yeah. One of my favorite players. I hate the Ravens, but I'm a Tyler Huntley guy. Really excited. I picked him up in in 2 of my 3 dynasty leagues late last year, hoping that he would get free this year. He didn't. He was a restricted free agent. They kept him. Or no, he was in exclusive rights, I believe, this year. He's restricted next year. And maybe I'm hoping someone will tender an offer to him. And if not, then I'm going to hold him and keep holding until 2024, where he's an actual free agent, unrestricted free agent. So hopefully, eventually Huntley will get a chance somewhere down the line. He might even get it in Baltimore with the Lamar Jackson contract situation remaining unresolved. Before we talk about the game, since I brought it up, your thoughts on the Lamar contract?
Yeah, I think he deserves top money. I think that when he's healthy, he is a game changer. And I know that we've talked on the show about, there definitely are some questions with longevity, considering, he doesn't have the biggest frame. A lot of his game is based on running. But I think if you get him a 5-year, however many million it takes to be the top guy contract, I think he will be able to play out that second contract and still be an effective guy. In terms of Tyler Huntley, man, he does look good. And, I think there's incentive right now for the Ravens to hold on to him, just like you said, because of the Lamar contract situation, so that they have some leverage there as he continues to play well. But I mean, if and when he becomes available, if you're like the Lions, if you're the Falcons, the Seahawks, like, I'd be very comfortable moving a pick. We know how hard it is to find a guy who can lead your team. And if you think even there's a little something there with Huntley, like, move a third for him. Like, nothing's guaranteed. It's a premium position. And in my opinion, you always take as many hits at it as possible if you don't already have that guy.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I've made my stance clear on Lamar. I am not a Lamar guy. He's not an elite passer. That's what you need in the NFL. Can't just do it with your legs. Even we saw one of the best, if not, I mean, most people think Michael Vick is the best running quarterback, probably dual threat in league history, right? Cam Newton broke many of his records running the ball wise. But you saw with Cam, specifically his MVP season in 2015, he was lights out with nothing at the receiver position. But he was throwing the ball and running it. So maybe that's the same. I mean, Lamar had one MVP season as well. So, but he is not my cup of tea. So, anyways, this game though, Malik Willis, first action, Titans 3rd round pick. I heard Vrabel was pissed at him because he ran too much and he didn't throw the ball enough. But he did score a rushing touchdown. So yeah, I mean, again, just like I'm not a Lamar guy, I'm not a Malik Willis guy either. I was very favored to Kenny Pickett. which as I was excited about him going to Pittsburgh. We'll talk about him. But yeah, Malik Willis, not that bad though. I mean, not a bad debut. It's just I just heard Vrabel was pissed because he ran too much.
Yeah, the report came out that he yanked him. I think he played 2 quarters or maybe less, because he wasn't taking enough stuff that was there. And when you go back, it's true. And kind of what I talked about kind of on Twitter is like, I think it comes down to coaching philosophy, right? Like, obviously Vrabel yanked him because I think he didn't want him to like keep developing some bad habits. He for sure did hold on to the ball too long. There were some questions with his vision. In my opinion, you want to get a guy as many reps as possible, especially in this period, so you can evaluate him in your system. But to each their own. And I think with Malik Willis is that right now, he is who we thought he was coming out. He had some really wow plays in that preseason game. There was a play where he was rolling to his left, sidearmed it, nice little check down. There was a really good run, the run for the touchdown, and he did have a big passing game. But like I also said, he held on the ball too long. He missed some easy reads. So basically kind of what he was in the pre-draft prospect, this kind of big boomer bust guy, showed out in week 1. So I like Malik Willis. I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just keep waiting, keep seeing, what he's kind of made of.
Mark, how are you doing? Oh, he left. I was gonna say, how are you doing, Mark? Probably had the Jets scouts come in there asking to look at their quarterback because they need one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Julius Chestnut, Sacred Heart guy there. Love Julius Chestnut. 7 for 44. He did put the ball on the ground. Not good for him. Mike Davis, free agent acquisition for the Ravens. He scored. Shamar Bridges, 4 catches, 62 yards, touchdown, leading receiver in the game, 5 targets. Do you know where Shamar Bridges is from, Logan?
I do not.
Fort Valley State.
Wow.
It doesn't even show up. It doesn't even show up on his bio when you click on him on ESPN.
Oh my God.
I had to look him up. But yeah, Shamar Bridges trying to make the team at a spot that has some spots open.
Yeah.
For Baltimore. Defensive play of the game is for me, Titans, David Ananai, 4 tackles, 3 of them solo, 2 sacks, tackle for loss, and 2 QB hits. Friday, Jets beating the Eagles 24-21. Yeah, the third string Eagles defense gave this game away. The Eagles were up 14-0 after the first quarter. And then they were up late. They were up 21-17 late with a minute 40 to go. And then Chris Streveler drove them down the field very quickly. First off, they let up like a 40-yard kick return to Zonovan Knight. And then Streveler had a big run. I don't know how long it was. It was most of those 31 yards rushing, I believe, on that run. And then they were set up, I think, like 3 plays later, they were in the end zone. But yeah, I was very happy. Jalen Hurts was a beast. I mean, look, he had 100 perfect quarterback rating, 158.3, 606, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't run the ball at all, I don't think, in that first drive. They only played 1 drive. But yeah, they were efficient. He was good, accurate. Didn't throw the ball to A.J. Brown at all. Which was funny because A.J. said that Jalen told him he wasn't going to throw on the ball in that game.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good thing, in my opinion. We know A.J. Brown's that dude. Like, we don't need to see that much from him. And what we need to see from Hurts is just spread the love, just pass it to the open guy. And that's what he did.
Yeah, 22-yard touchdown throw to Dallas Goedert there. Zach Wilson got hurt in this game. Talk about it. Bone bruise on his knee, tore meniscus as well. Had surgery today. Week 1, they said not ruled out yet, which I mean, I understand why it's not, as it was 2 to 4 weeks originally. So that puts you at 3 weeks, I think, would be week 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of people are concerned, not that he's going to be out, but the fact that he's going to be out and missing reps that he needs a lot.
Yeah. It's bad news. I think the timetable, it's got to be based on like how the tear is. Like if it's a partial tear, he'll be like, obviously he's coming back sooner. So I'm guessing that's what it is.
Yeah, they say meniscus trim.
Yeah.
Wasn't a repair, yeah.
But I mean, the reports, there's a report out of camp that said that Joe Flacco's out playing him, which is just not what you want to hear. Especially when they went out and, they helped shore up that O-line, and they got Garrett Wilson. So yeah, I don't know what they do.
Yeah. LaMichael P. Ryan, leading rusher in the game, 10 carries, 51 yards. Our guy John Babington's boy there, Jason Huntley, New Mexico State, Aggie. He got a lot of work. The Eagles sat Miles Sanders early. The Kenneth Gainwell, I don't think was playing. I think he's out with injury, or maybe he did play. If he did, he didn't play much. Yeah, Huntley got a lot of the work. 16 carries, 48 yards. Did score, put the ball on the ground though. Big time in the receiving game. 4 catches, 39 yards. Kennedy Brooks scored a receiving touchdown. Undrafted free agent out of Oklahoma. Zonovan Knight, like I said, he scored a touchdown as well for the Jets. Undrafted free agent out of NC State. Zach Pascal, leading receiver in the game. I was happy to see him get involved early. My guy, LC, Lawrence Cager, leading receiver for the Jets. 2 catches, 40 yards. Goddard scored. Calvin Jackson scored for the Jets. Jeremy Ruckert, 3rd-round rookie out of Ohio State. He scored. And then, defense player of the game is Jets defensive tackle Tanzel Smart. 6 tackles, 3 of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 QB hits. I was pissed that Carson Strong didn't play in this game, and Reed Sinnett did.
Yeah, I had always kind of assumed that the undrafted free agent thing was because of the knee, and maybe it still is. Maybe, I don't know, there's some kind of injury designation with that still going on where they don't want to play him. But like, if he's healthy, I don't know, then maybe just NFL evaluators felt different about him than everybody else did.
Yeah, but it's going to be, I mean, it's not going to be a big cap hit, but the Eagles did give him the most guaranteed money of any undrafted free agent out there. So it was kind of weird to see him not play.
Right.
Okay. Falcons getting the win 27-23 over Detroit. Desmond Ritter's debut. Under 50% completion, but he did bring him back. He won him the game. 2 touchdowns. Also very effective with the ground game. 6 carries, 59 yards. Mariota didn't do much. I don't even know how much Mariota played. He only threw 2 balls, completed them both. He also ran a touchdown in 23 yards on the ground to go with that. But yeah, Ritter, I've been trying to get rid of him in my one dynasty league. I have too many quarterbacks.
Yeah. This was one of the few games that I got to watch like most of. I think I watched like 3/4 of. Mariota played like 2 or 3 series, but like literally didn't throw the ball. Like literally refused to throw the football. And Ritter, he had one. Yeah, he had a pick that was pretty bad. It got called back, I think. But yeah, he definitely showed some flashes, and like you said, he was really effective in the running game. I think it's very similar to the Malik Willis situation in that like we kind of like know what we're getting a little bit. Like he looked confident out there. He didn't look out of place, and that's reflected in the fact that he was a 4-year starter at Cincy. But still, you wonder if the talent's there, if he can adjust to the NFL game. So yeah.
Quadri Olison. It was a interesting storyline. He was the starting running back in this game. Patterson not playing. Damian Williams not playing either. And he was effective. 6.6 yards per carry on 5 attempts. DeAndre Swift also effective in the rushing game. Did not get a target in the passing game. Did score though. That's what we're looking for from DeAndre this year. We need him to run the ball better, and hoping he can. Just check in here. Yeah, okay. Tom Kennedy, the rare 100-yard receiving game in a preseason. 8 for 104, 12 targets. Drake London injured after his lone reception and target. The game 1 for 24 there. 8th overall pick. Jared Bernhardt. I know Peter Strager loves this guy. He caught a 21-yard touchdown from Desmond Ritter. This guy was a lacrosse player. And then I think he played football a little bit, barely. Or did he? I didn't look at the I didn't actually watch the video on Twitter, but I know Strager said he was a lacrosse player, and I guess he played a little bit at Ferris State Division II.
Wow. They got 2 guys from Ferris State now bouncing around. Malik Taylor.
Yeah.
Packers great Malik Taylor from Ferris State, right?
Well, how about Packers 1-year wonder, tight end Devin Funchess?
Yeah.
Catching a touchdown for the Lions. 4 catches, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Caught all 4 of his targets. Parker Hess also catching a touchdown for the Falcons. And then my defensive player of the game is the top guy there, D. Alford. 8 tackles, 6 solos, a pass deflection, and a pick for the corner from Atlanta. Yeah, I had to check. I was like, is that Robert Alford? Did he like change his name? But no, D. Alford is a different guy.
Yeah.
D. Alford is a first season guy. All right. Next game up here, Browns winning 24-13 over the Jags. Deshaun Watson looked like shit.
Yeah. There's no other way to put it other than that. Yep. Yeah. He looked like a guy who's missed like 2 years.
1 for 5, 7 yards.
Yeah.
In what, two drives, 3 drives?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Yeah, and then you look at, Josh Dobbs, Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
I mean, they were fantastic. Especially Josh Dobbs, 108 yards and a touchdown. Rosen, though, only missed 1 pass. I'm telling you, dude, I think Josh Rosen he's finally got it. He finally understands.
You think so?
Yeah, his 2 years in Atlanta, he understands now. He knows how to do it. And I think he could, if given the backup job, which he won't obviously get, fighting Josh Dobbs for the 3rd spot. on the
Mhm.
QB depth chart. But besides Deshaun Watson in this game, the Jags actually played their guys after their preseason Hall of Fame game loss to the Raiders, not playing anyone. Trevor Lawrence, only 50%, but he did throw a touchdown, ran once for 11 yards. And ETN, 10 total touches in this game. Not that effective running the ball, and he caught 1 for 10. But yeah, the starters are slowly coming along for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got to watch some highlights from this game. The NFL did highlights of every preseason game. I tried to catch up on some. The one thing that I'm really excited about Trevor Lawrence is that, and it's one of the most translatable traits to success at the quarterback position, is pocket awareness, pocket presence. I think his year one behind that old line is kind of indirectly helped him a little bit. Just kind of his poise, it was very apparent to me, even though the completion percentage wasn't there. He hung tough in the pocket. And then ETN, like you said, his average wasn't great, but there were a couple plays where he flashed his ability, his burst. I know he had like a 10-yard run. So yeah, I think there is some promise there.
Other interesting note for this game, Jerome Ford was very good, 5.7 yards per carry on 10 attempts, scored a touchdown. Rushing, scored a receiving touchdown, also caught 4 balls for 45 yards on 5 targets. Did fumble the ball once, so I got to fix that up. But the interesting note about Jerome Ford, draft pick this year, I think 5th round. Kareem Hunt wants out.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns are set up to trade Kareem Hunt. They just don't want to right now. They have Dearness Johnson, Jerome Ford, and what's the other dude? The receiver running back guy. Dimitri Felton, yeah.
Yep.
So they have the backs.
Yep.
I don't know why they don't just trade him, because I think you could get a decent draft pick for Kareem Hunt.
Right.
I think I think a 3rd round pick would be value.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt, there's a lot of teams that I think could use that addition to their backfield. Atlanta. Shoot. I mean, a lot of teams can use a Kareem Hunt. And Dearness Johnson showed that he can be that dude in the backup role. And in my opinion, the Browns, some of their other management decisions have, potentially been questionable, depending on how you view it. But I think the Browns over the past few years have done the running back position right, which is just keep building so that when injuries come up, you can handle it, and so that your RB1s aren't getting put through the ringer and have a longer shelf life. I think Nick Chubb's going to be able to have a much longer career, not only because of his talent, but because of how they're able to manage his workload. And I think that makes for a more effective rushing attack overall.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, starters getting in here for the Jags this game. New starting tight end Evan Ingram catching a touchdown, 9 yards for the score on 2 targets there. Leading receiver for the Browns, though, was not a wide receiver. It was a tight end, a guy that I had never heard of. Nakia Griffin-Stewart, 3 catches, 37 yards on 4 targets. I forget where he's from. I saw it, but yeah. MGS getting it done.
Mhm.
Isaiah Thomas, what a debut for the rookie draft pick for Cleveland. 3 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 QB hits. And their 3rd round pick, their first pick of the draft this year, Martin Emerson Jr., all that he did was take a pick to the house, 74 yards right before halftime, I believe it was. That was where all my betting people were going crazy because they said this is one way to cash Brown's first half plus a half. But yeah, 3 tackles, 3 of them solo, tackle loss, 74-yard pick 6 for Martin Emerson.
Yeah. And DB's been another position where they have just kind of hammered that. And they have crazy depth there right now.
Yeah, just activated Denzel Ward, their number 1 corner off of PUP this past weekend. Cardinals 36-23 over the Bengals. Cardinals scoring the most points of the weekend by any team. And it was Trace McSorley getting it done. Him and Jarrett Garantano. Have not heard Jarrett Garantano's name in a while.
Yep.
But Trace McSorley is one of my favorite players. Obviously, I'm a Penn State guy. And he's been one of my favorite guys since he left Penn State and went to Baltimore. A guy who we have not heard of from in a while either, Jake Browning, made it appear. I didn't even know he was on Cincinnati.
Me either.
He showed up on the stat sheet. Pretty good.
He was a Viking, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was originally a 7th round pick with the Vikings, I believe. But yeah, with the Bengals now, hoping to latch on. They have 3 guys here playing quarterback. Brandon Allen in concussion protocol, so maybe they do keep 3 as they work Joe Burrow back from the appendectomy. Had his first practice back a couple days ago. But Jake Browning fighting Drew Plitt there, who was perfect. He had a Jalen Hurts stat line, 6-6, 76 yards, 1 touchdown, perfect passer rating for Drew Plitt, one of my favorite guys from the MAC out of Ball State. There's a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of guys that are coming out of the MAC that are rookies this year that I have been following that I really like. But yeah, Jake Browning, the 190 leading passer in the game, did fumble the ball, but he did run it 4 times for 14 yards. Something I did not know Jake Browning could do. But yeah, McSorley looked pretty good. 163 touchdown. He is I don't know. I don't know if Arizona's keeping 3 or not. I don't think they usually do. I think it's usually just 2, as far as I know. So it'll be Kyler and Colt McCoy once again. But yeah, McSorley trying to make them keep 3 there.
Yeah. McSorley's a guy who I'd roster just for the athletic upside alone, to be honest. What kind of fun, formations could you run with him and Kyler out of the backfield? Just crazy backyard stuff.
Right. And Trace McSorley, for not being the biggest guy, I believe he's only 6 foot. He is one of the toughest guys, toughest quarterbacks.
Yep.
He got absolutely lit up a bunch when he was at Penn State and just kept going. Yeah. I think he'd be an interesting goal line option for Arizona. See if Cliff could scheme some stuff up for him. But yeah, Brandon Allen, like I said, hurt in this game, 3 for 3, 29 yards. Jacques Patrick, former original XFL guy. He was with the Tampa Bay Vipers and the XFL back in 2020 there. 9 carries, 30 yards, touchdown. Rookie, one of my favorite rookies this year. 7 carries, 27 yards. Keontae Ingram. He scored a touchdown, 2 catches, 18 yards as well. I don't know why they're I don't see a reason why Keontae Ingram should not be the backup and beat out Darrell Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I like the opportunity there for Keontae Ingram, mostly because I'm not real worried about Eno Benjamin and like Darrell Williams. I think Keontae Ingram could easily come in and be that second guy. Which I mean, it's an important role in that offense because Chase Edmonds was heavily utilized as the RB kind of two once James Conner kind of took over.
And we know James Conner cannot play a whole season, so
yeah.
they're gonna need some guys there. Andy Isabella, our leading receiver for the Cards, 457. Cards need to figure out what they're going to do at receiver here without DeAndre Hopkins, possibly without Marquise Brown as well. Maybe a pending suspension for him coming as well. Kendrick Pryor, leading receiver for the game, 4 catches, 89 yards, touchdown on 7 targets for the Bengals. And then defensively, I am going with Cardinals linebacker Victor Dimukeje. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, tech for loss, and 2 QB hits.
Yeah, he played really well. And I think that if he continues to play really well, he can be a good answer to their kind of pass rushing questions.
Well, they already have one of my favorite guys, Dennis Gardeck. I've been telling people for the last 2 years, Dennis Gardeck, man, he needs more opportunities. And now he's finally going to get some this year without Chandler Jones there. Also want to mention Jeff Gunter, draft pick for the Bengals this year. Loved Jeff Gunter at Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Guys coming out of there. Alrighty. Rolling along here. 49ers getting it done against your Packers, Logan. 28-21.
What else is new?
This is true. I just saw highlights of Nick Bosa strip. He's still strip sacking Aaron Rodgers.
So.
Yeah. But anyways, Jordan Love. Yeah. Interesting night.
Yeah. That his performance encapsulates kind of what we feel about him thus far. Now the stat line, I don't like to be that guy, but the stat line doesn't tell the whole story. There were quite a few instances where some of those picks could be attributed to wide receivers. Still, he missed a lot of what are supposed to be routine throws. There are some errors in decision making. You see some of the improvements that have been talked about by a lot of the beat reporters in camp. That year 3 has shown some improvement, but basically, just like everything else, it's too soon to tell.
Well, it better be soon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yep.
They only got 2 more years of him under contract.
Uh-huh.
With the 5th-year option pending in 2020.
Yep. Well, I was heated that he didn't play in the 3rd quarter. No disrespect to Danny Etling, but you need to see as much Jordan Love as possible.
Yeah.
I think they pulled him because maybe they didn't want to rattle his confidence because he had already had the 3 picks on the stat sheet. But right now it's about volume. It's about maximizing this evaluation window in year 3.
Danny Etling looked great though.
Yeah.
123 touchdown.
Yeah.
Almost a perfect passer rating there.
One of my favorite beat reporters for the Packers that I follow said maybe Danny Etling's the savior.
Well, Belichick couldn't keep him. He didn't have enough room for him. So, but he did start under Belichick in New England. So,
stranger things have happened, I guess.
Yeah, Niners played 3 quarterbacks. Another guy I'm not a big fan of. I am not on the hype train for Trey Lance this year.
Really? You're just anti-mobile QB.
The only kind of mobile QBs I like are Cam Newton, where you're big, you have enough meat on you to be able to keep pounding. Now these guys are more slim. Most of the guys are more slim. They use a lot of juke moves, quickness. That's fine. But I need an arm, which I guess Trey Lance has. Trey Lance is such a hype machine this year because of the Kyle Shanahan offense and because he has a lot of raw skill. But I think a lot of people are comparing him to Patrick Mahomes because he did the same kind of thing where he sat most of the year, had to come in, start those couple of games when Jimmy G was hurt. But it's not going to be Mahomes. That's not, for one, they're different, obviously. Mahomes is a lot better passer, and he can run. I think Trey Lance is more of a runner and needs to develop as a passer. But yeah, I'm not on the hype train with most of the other people out there.
Yeah, I think that's a good kind of counterweight because right now, like you said, like the Lance hype is just running away with it. And there are a lot of comps to Patrick Mahomes for the reasons you said, sat for a year, has all this physical talent, and then like the hype around Patrick Mahomes was like really coming out like in camp a year or two. And it feels like there's some of that going on with Trey Lance. And I think this is a good thing to say about the preseason as a whole is that, and I've been saying it already on the pod, it's too soon to tell. Like you cannot just it's week 1 of preseason. It's definitely not meaningless, but it's not as important as a lot of people are kind of over analyzing right now. In the football sphere and in the fantasy sphere, I see a lot of people overreacting to kind of just week 1 hype. Like we learned nothing from Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase's preseason. I was so ready to light up the Bengals for not taking Penei Sewell. And then what happens? Jamar Chase becomes a top 5 wide receiver and they go to the Super Bowl. So, so just, I think it's good. You just kind of pump the brakes, everyone. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah. I mean, he looked good.
The biggest issue of the stat line is 76 of those 92 yards came on one play.
Yeah.
That he gets credit for because he threw it for half of the yards.
Yeah.
And Danny Gray made an outstanding catch and run to finish off the 76-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nate Sudfeld was pretty good in this game. 8-11, 103 touchdown. My guy Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant this year, threw the game-winning touchdown. He did. Tyler Goodson. I was surprised that Tyler Goodson, he went undrafted, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Great back out of Iowa. The Packers could use depth.
Yeah.
If they have spots.
Yep, he played well and he's been generating a lot of buzz out of camp. I think there's a really right now, and again, it's too soon to tell, but I think like if you had to make the roster cutdowns today, I think there's a good chance he makes the 53 and is the RB3.
Yeah, I think the Niners draft the running back every year. They drafted another one this year in Tyrion Davis-Price out of LSU. 1 yard shy of Goodson's 37 yards, but not the average you want, but still building there for TDP. Yeah, Danny Gray, like I said, 2 catches, 99 yards, touchdown. Again, I think I talked about NFC West season preview. The Niners receiving depth. Danny Gray has a shot. He has a good shot at seeing meaningful reps, meaningful snaps this year with Debo and then Ayuk. I don't think they have a clear third guy right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Danny Gray, I could see being that dude.
And he's been playing well. I think he played well in this game. And I think there's been some rumblings out of camp that he's looked really, really well. So,
yeah, Ray McLeod scored a touchdown. We usually don't see him catching the ball too much on offense, but he will be the Niners return man. That's how he'll make the roster. He did put the ball on the ground once, however. And then the biggest hype train out of Green Bay this preseason. One of my favorite guys. I love all the Nevada guys. Carson Strong.
Yeah.
Cole Turner, who is probably going to be the starting tight end for the Washington Commanders week 1. And then Romeo Doubs, 4th round wide receiver, Nevada, 3 catches, 45 yards, scored a touchdown, 7 targets in the game. Do you have a drop?
Yeah. Yep. He had 1 drop, and then he got muscled kind of on that pick, one of the Jordan Love picks. But it was also kind of a poorly thrown ball that he had to kind of fight for. So, but yeah, the hype train has been real in Packer Nation. Again, I always want to be cautiously optimistic. As I said, it's very early, but so far Romeo Doubs has been everything the Packers could ask for out of a 4th rounder and then some. That's for sure. And when we drafted him, I told my friends, I told my folks, I was like, anybody else who was a Packer fan that was, looking for kind of my analysis, because they know that, I love the NFL draft and stuff. I was like, don't be surprised if Romeo Doubs out produces and outplays Christian Watson in his first year, because Doubs is a very experienced wide receiver and was uber productive at Nevada in that air raid system. So I think he's a little more polished. And hopefully they can, if he is really that dude, as he's kind of been hyped about right now, I mean, it'd be huge. Doesn't even begin to encapsulate how that would help that offense recover from Davante Adams' loss.
Yeah. I mean, the Packers are a team not as successful as the Steelers, but probably right below them at historically developing mid-round receivers. Davante Adams wasn't a first-round pick. He was a second-round pick. So, and you see other guys, Randall Cobb, James Jones, etc.
Jordy. Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, Romeo Doubs has had more opportunities just for the fact that Christian Watson's been hurt. He finally came off PUP. Him and Robert Tonyan came off PUP this past weekend. So we'll see if Watson plays week 2. Amari Rodgers scored a touchdown. The probably forgotten man. No one thought Amari Rodgers, but yeah.
Yeah, I was so hyped when we traded up for Amari in 21. And yeah, he struggled in his rookie year, but in fairness to him, I mean, he was kind of crammed into that punt returning role, because he's kind of that kind of size and stature of a guy you want to play that position. But he didn't do that at Clemson. He was learning that all on the fly in a special teams unit that was dead last in the NFL. So that kind of stunted his growth, in my opinion, in terms of developing as a wide receiver. And it's weird. He's gotten a lot of hate from a certain amount of Packers fans who are saying things like he might not even make the 53. I can guarantee you Amari Rodgers is making the 53. He's going to be one of the 6 wide receivers that's on the 53-man roster. And the good news is that he looks a lot more athletic this year. He talked with the media about how he's kind of been cutting down, trying to get to a healthier weight, losing some body fat. And he had a really good touchdown run after the catch, and he had a really good kick return. So hopefully he can keep building those successes, and hopefully he'll carve a role out in the slot. Again, his development is also just as important as anybody else in that wide receiver room to help mitigate the loss of Davante Adams.
My defense player of the game for this game, it's a tough one, but I'm going to go with the guy at the bottom. He didn't have as many tackles, but 49ers corner Samuel Womack III, 2 pass deflections and 2 of the Jordan Love 3 interceptions. Samuel Womack did have. All right, Saturday, Panthers beating the Commanders 23-21. Matt Corral, game-winning drive. Or I shouldn't say game-winning in quotes. He led the Panthers to the game-winning field goal. Zane Gonzalez walk-off field goal with 3 seconds left. But, Corral's debut did not go very well. 1 for 9, 11 yards. And luckily for him, Washington's secondary likes to hold because they got a key pass interference penalty that set them up in field goal range. But his rookie counterpart, Sam Howell, played pretty well. Scored 2 rushing touchdowns. Brought the Commanders back because they were down, I think it was 21-7. And I think Howell brought them back to tie it. Or they were down 20-7 or something like that. And Howell brought them back, led 21-20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's some cautious optimism in DC because, I mean, when we saw Sam Howell 2 years ago, when he had some really good weapons around him, he was great. That's why he was getting number 1 overall hype with him and Spencer Rattler in the way too early mock drafts, right? And then, you see him when those guys graduated to the NFL, and he struggled a lot. So I think there's cautious optimism that, hey, if you return to that form, you get some NFL caliber talent around you. Maybe you can see some more of that other Sam Howell that we saw in the past. Again, this is preseason week 1. But I mean, it's always good when you come out and you look good in kind of your first outing. In terms of Matt Corral, the good news is it's too early. This is exactly what preseason's for, is to make mistakes and kind of just figure it out. From what I heard is that he looked kind of skittish out there. He didn't look very comfortable. And again, that's exactly what preseason's for, is to get those reps, get that comfortability in live action. So I mean, I'm not sweating it either way with either of those guys because we need to see a little more sample size.
Yeah, it's not good for Carson Wentz's mental sanity that Sam Howell was playing well, because we know what happens Carson Wentz when he sees success behind him. But he's
already shaking, dude.
10 for 13, 74 yards. Really good day for Carson Wentz. And back to Sam Howell, though. See, Sam Howell is a guy that is a runner, but he's big. He's big enough to take the hits. It's the kind of running quarterbacks I like.
Yeah. I mean, I think Trey Lance can be that dude too. He's 220, but he's like a rocked up 220. Like Lamar's pretty thin. He's got that thin frame, but I think Trey Lance has the durability enough to kind of be that guy. But I totally agree with what you're saying with Sam Howell too. And he showed it this past year because he had to make a lot of those plays with his legs. That was kind of one of those indirect things that we got to see from him because he wasn't airing it out as much.
Yeah, the quarterback competition for Carolina, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Baker looked pretty good. Led to 3 points in his first drive. Got a couple drives in, but was only able to get the 3 points on the board. Sam Darnold led a touchdown drive, short touchdown drive, 2 for 3, 16 yards touchdown. That came off of a the Taylor Heineke pick, I believe. I can't remember. I was listening to the game because I was on the golf course, but bad news possibly for Antonio Gibson here. Brian Robinson had a nice day, 4.3 yards per carry, touchdown, 2 catches, 15 yards. Antonio Gibson fumbled again. It's not good for my fantasy dynasty wise either. I have him on. But in terms of taking Ryan Robinson, picking him up in a dynasty league, what do you think?
I like it right now because, as you just mentioned, now again, it's very early, but they also don't really have RB2 locked up. Who is it? Jarek McKinnon or JD McKissick?
Yep.
I mean, McKissick's like played good in spurts, but I wouldn't say he's like the bona fide RB2 pushing for RB1.
Right.
So there's a lot of like fluidity, I guess you could say. It's a very fluid situation for the RB situation there. And I liked Brian Robinson coming out. So
Alabama running back.
Yeah, they are them and Wisco and Georgia.
Yeah,
it's the triple crown for RBU. And he has the build for it. Like, that's the other thing that, like, maybe you put him over Antonio Gibson, maybe it helps him beat him out, is that he is absolutely built to be a running back. Yep. So I do really like picking up B-Rob. In terms of Antonio Gibson right now, I would say either way, I'd say whether you're looking to sell him or buy him, I'd say just hold the line right now because, again, this is week 1 of preseason. Obviously, it's bad that it looks like his fumbling issues are continuing, and that's going to potentially keep him from seeing the field. But it's still early, and I still loved Antonio Gibson coming out of college. So we'll see.
Yeah, my defensive player of the game here is corner Duke Dawson for the Panthers. 4 tackles, 2 of them solos, 2 pass deflections, and a pick off of Taylor Heineke. Just picked him up a couple weeks ago, did the Panthers.
Love it.
Steelers. You're out?
Yep, I'm going to have to head out before we get to talk. I'll give you the entire floor for your Steelers. How about that?
All right, man.
All right, see you, dude. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Steelers 32-25 win over the Seahawks. Super Bowl 43 rematch here. Drew Lock, Geno Smith split halves. I was weirded out to see Pete Carroll take that approach to the Seahawks quarterback competition, but both played evenly. Drew Lock threw 2 touchdowns. Geno ran 1 in, but Drew Lock did have the game sealing, essentially, fumble where he was strip sacked by rookie linebacker Mark Robinson, and led to the Steelers' game-winning touchdown there. Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, both looked pretty good. Both throwing touchdowns, all 3 quarterbacks leading the Steelers to touchdown drives. But yeah, Mitch looked very good there. So did Rudolph. But Kenny Pickett is the storyline everyone is talking about in Pittsburgh right now. He was absolutely fantastic. 13 of 15, 86.7%, 95 yards, 2 touchdown passes, including the game-winning 24-yarder to Tyler Vaughn's undrafted rookie out of USC. 3 carries, 16 yards as well. Pickett scrambled a little bit, picked up a key first down, 8-yard run on the game-winning drive, I believe it was. But yeah, Kenny Pickett was great. And now we are hearing he is getting first team reps in the 2-minute drill. So it's heating up in Pittsburgh, and I don't think anything is close to being settled yet between Trubisky and Pickett. DJ Dallas had a great game running the ball, 10 carries, 73 yards, had a 17-yard receiving touchdown there. Anthony McFarland, 56 yards on the ground as well. He was good. But my favorite running back of the game, Jalen Warren. We called him Mark's cousin last year, Oklahoma State undrafted free agent. 6 carries, 34 yards, great average, 5.7, and he scored a receiving touchdown to go along with 4 catches, 30 yards on 5 targets. Was a great game for him. Gunnar Olszewski scored a touchdown, a guy that's going to be the leading punt returner for Pittsburgh. George Pickens also getting a lot of hype out of Pittsburgh. Very, very good game. 3 catches, 43 yards. He scored a touchdown on 5 targets. Caught that touchdown from Mason Rudolph, who dropped a dime into the back of the end zone. Pickens got his feet down and scored. Tyler Vaughn's, like I said, game-winning receiving touchdown. 2 catches, 32 yards, and that score off 2 targets was very good as well. Derek Young, rookie, 7th-round rookie out of Lenore-Rhine, 4 catches, 30 yards. He scored on 5 targets. And then defensive player of the game, Boye Mafe, the 2nd-round rookie out of Minnesota, linebacker for the Seahawks, 3 tackles, all of them solo, 2 sacks, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. The Bears beat the Chiefs 19-14. Quarterback wise, a lot of them played 7 to be exact. This was one of the couple games that had 7 quarterbacks play. In terms of the Bears, Justin Fields, okay, 57.1%, 48 yards, carry for 10 yards as well. Nathan Peterman was pretty good. Not as many yards. Trevor Siemian was very good, though. 53.8% completion, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns there. Shane Buechele led the game in passing yards, 99 of them for the Chiefs. Touchdown and a pick for him. Mahomes, what else? He was great. 6 of 7, 85.7%, 60 yards, a touchdown drive for Patrick.